Yo, what is up, guys? Jaquan here, and we're back again with another classic match of Emerald Steel versus Ruby Amethyst. Wow, what a weekend, huh? So essentially, DKP, congrats to him, is now the very first Lorcana champion. It was a crazy match with Ed Chu when I was tuning in, and wow, he really did it with his Ruby Sapphire, so love to see it. Kudos to him. We got set champs right around the corner here in the next coming weeks, and then right after that, we're going to be in Fabled, which is going to be the next rotation. But for now, hey, let's enjoy some classic games here. And you got myself playing the Emerald Steel Diablo with Beyond the Horizons. So hopefully we can pull that off in this game here today. Now, we are also going to now be transitioning our games in the future to best out of 3, just because now DLCs have announced that they will be best out of 3, so we will be doing that just to, give ourselves a little practice for set champs and whatnot. But pretty crazy, huh? How the DLCs that did get announced, there were only 3 of them in North America. None of them in Canada, which is so sad because, I'm in Canada, guys. The channel's in Canada, and we got so many really good, awesome players in Canada as well. So I was really sad to see that because, not all of us are able to actually travel around, right? Especially with what's happening in the world these days. Things can be pretty expensive. So hopefully, they'll be able to announce something a little less than DLC, but a little higher than set champs, kind of like a regional level. And then maybe from there we'll be able to enjoy the game a little bit more, because yeah, having a non-competitive scene aside from set champs really sucks, because it doesn't give you much playability when it comes to all your cards, right? Especially for someone like myself who really loves to build decks and have a lot of different cards in every single color. Plus I do like to have foils as well sometimes, but yeah, with how the competitive scene is, might just start selling off my foils and keeping non-foils. But yeah, as we can see here, I did manage to get off the Diablo, and did take out his broom, I believe, or he might have popped the broom from the queen there. He did have the Peter Pan directly to out my Diablo. In this particular matchup, because we are also playing discard, we do want to get out the Prince Johns early, and perhaps even Muses. And the reason for that is because they do have Ward, so they're not going to be able to interact with it all too much, and we can just kind of sit on there until maybe the Ruby Amethyst has 6 ink. Then we can start dropping our Ursula Deceivers to hopefully ripping out some of the Be Prepareds. Because Ruby Amethyst have made a lot of different types of adjustments to their decks since it last topped a couple DLCs ago, is where they no longer play big Sisu, so we don't have to worry about big Sisu being dropped, taking out our Prince Johns, Diablos, and all our other weaker characters, right? So now we can just chill and sit on Prince John, and as you can see here, we do have the Ursula Deceiver of all. And it is safe for me to play it. Yes, he can brawl it, that's fine if he does choose to do so. I'm totally okay with that, but it's also safe because he just inked his 4th card, meaning that we're not going to get Elsud to have the Ursula Deceiver Revolve exerted, right? And then maybe next turn we'll have like Strength of a Raging Fire, or ideally we'll have the Let the Storm Rage on to be able to take out the Peter Pan and the Queen Rush. Okay, so we are singing. Yep, so as you can see here, we do sing the Let the Storm Rage On. Being able to take out 2 characters and allowing us to draw 2 cards by putting the Let the Storm Rage on the bottom of the deck, singing it twice. Okay, so we're inking the Diablo, playing the Prince John, setting up for our discard stuff. Now, unlike the other variant of Emerald Amethyst discard, we won't have access to any of the levers, so we do have to be cautious of being able to save our discard package for when the opponent gets low on cards. Right now he is fighting to sustain the board, and then also to gain as much resources by bouncing this rabbit with the fox, taking out my Ursula, and allowing him to draw one card as well, keeping his hand nice and healthy. But that's fine because we do play a very special new card called Beyond the Horizon. And what it does is that it allows us to choose whether or not we want to discard, the opponent to discard their whole hand and draw 3 cards, or we can both discard and draw 3 cards. So it is the player's choice who did play Beyond the Horizon there. And it's such a great combo with Prince John, because if you do have Ursula Deceiver of All, it does have the ability to sing it twice. Because you've already exerted the other characters to sing together, Ursula can just send it back to just sing it again for free. Okay, so we are playing the Hypnotize, and right now the opponent is trying to keep as much hand advantage as possible, but by doing so, it also hinders his board state, right? So as you can see there, he bounced the rabbit for fox, and then he bounced the fox for snake, right? This doesn't necessarily help you out when it comes to the board state, right? Because you're losing tempo, you're putting your characters back into your hand, which is something that he possibly wants to do, right? Because he wants to just keep recycling the rabbits, right? So playing the rabbit, playing the fox, bouncing the rabbit, right? So by doing this, again, like, it's going to allow him to just keep having card advantage, but again, he doesn't really know yet that we are playing Beyond the Horizon, and he also doesn't know that it's also in our hand. So we don't care at this point. And we could start bouncing stuff too, right, with muses. And then like, we could go, usually like the play that I would like to go for is like turn 2 Diablo Shift, turn 3 Ursula Deceiver, and then turn 4 the muses, and then have Ursula Deceiver and muses sing Beyond the Horizon there. Okay, so he does drop a Maui Half Shark, which is a really big threat. But let's have a look at his hand first. So we do play Ursula Deceiver. Now, a lot of times I do like to drop the Diablo 1-drop or even Ursula Deceiver, just to have a better idea of what exactly is in his hand, right? So let's just say he maybe had an Elsa 5-drop that allows to exert a ready character. I wouldn't have played that Diablo. So by playing the Ursula Deceiver, regardless whether or not we discard, we'll be able to know whether it's safe to start putting our characters down, right? Because even if he did have the Elsa, he wouldn't have been able to exert the Prince John as well. So right now we're just, trying to kill time and being able to just find our way to our outs and slowly discard the opponent away, right? Unfortunately, that rabbit is going to keep drawing him cards, and that Maui Half Shark is just sitting there waiting for a character of ours to be exerted. Not to mention that the Maui Half Shark can also get back the Be Prepared that he discarded as well. Alright, so we're inking the Ursula and playing Beyond the Horizons. We are going to be hard casting this, and now we're going to be choosing to make our opponent discard and allowing us to draw 3 fresh cards from Prince John, which is crazy because he had another Maui Half Shark. If he played that, we'd be looking at 2 Maui Half Sharks that we would have to deal with on the board. At least we can start to find our answers with the card draw from Prince John, being able to find, we don't talk about Bruno, to hopefully take out that Maui Half Shark. I was thinking whether or not to quest, or I might actually have another Beyond the Horizons. But we choose not to do anything because, again, we don't want him to get back his stuff from the Maui Half Shark. Okay, so I did notice that this was a small misplay from my friend here, where he exerted the Diablo and challenged in, with the Elsa, but he should have challenged in with the Maui Half Shark, giving him another action. So a little bit of a misplay, but we'll see if that did throw the game for him, because he is up on quite a bit of floor compared to us, and on top of that, his board is getting quite wide as well. And he chooses to passes over to us. Let's see what we can do here to come back, because either way, whether that misplay really hindered him or not, I guess he could have got back like a Pirate's Life and then start singing it next turn too. But either way, we still need to get rid of that Maui Half Shark, because that thing's such a big threat. Okay, so we throw down the Ursula Deceiver of all. Playing the Morph. Hopefully setting us up for some Beast Tragic Hero plays. So I'm going to hard cast the Sudden Chill. Just trying to mitigate as much as possible his hand. He discards the Peter Pan Shadow Finder. Okay. Hopefully he doesn't have another Elsa. We can also start to draw more and more cards. Hopefully finding also Strength of a Raging Fire. That will be a good one to out the Maui Half Shark as well. And singing it with Ursula Deceiver of all can do some real damage. And Questa with everything. Personally, if he's not singing with Maui Half Shark, I think I would still quest with it as well. Because there's nothing in Emerald Steel that would be able to just straight up challenge the Maui Half Shark. Okay, so he's gonna bounce the rabbits, playing Fox again. Playing the Genie. All right, let's see what we get here. Okay, we're playing a double Prince John. And we're singing Together Beyond the Horizons. Perfect. So that's going to give us double card draw from the Prince John, giving us so many cards in hand. Six cards that we just drew just now. With the other, I think it was like the other four cards. So we just drew like 10 cards. That's insane. So we have to have the out right now for Maui Half Shark. We cannot afford for any of our characters to be challenged in. And he almost has lethal as well. He could quest with everything next turn and then maybe play 2 actions for game. Playing Ursula Deceiver, checking his hand. Okay, so he has a Rabbit, Moana, and Iago. Both evasive, not really playable right now without the Peter Pan Shadow Finder to be able to give evasives rush, so we're not too scared with that hand. Okay, so we do shift into the Pete, and I believe right now we're probably gonna sing the We Don't Talk About Bruno. Yeah. Oh, strength. Okay. Yeah, strength works. Strength's probably better because then even if we don't talk about Bruno and sending the Maui half shark to the hand, there's a high possibility right at I believe that would be the 4th card, so it'd be a 25% chance of hitting the Maui half shark to discard it, and then if we don't, he'll just replay it next turn, right? And he's going to be very close to that point where he can play the Ruby Amethyst combo of playing Peter Pan and the Maui half shark in 1 turn, right? You need 9 ink to make that happen. And then that will allow the Maui half shark to rush in the turn that it's played. So right now he's just going as wide as possible, but we are pretty wide from last turn as well. And just the sheer amount of card draw that we were able to get this game allowed us to just start inking like crazy to be able to just go card for card with Ruby Amethyst, right? And we know that Be Prepared isn't coming down yet, because he did have to hard cast the rabbit, not giving him enough ink to be able to draw into a Be Prepared. And by playing Ursula Deceiver last turn, we were able to just double check to make sure that there was no Be Prepared in his hand. The other thing, of course, is he could top deck like Friends on the Other Side, sing that, and then draw the Be Prepared from there, but it's a very low chance that that would actually end up happening. And even if that did happen, it would wipe out his whole board, still giving us the advantage because we have like 3 or 4 times more cards in our hand than he does, right? And he has to waste a whole entire turn just to Be Prepared us. So he's going to take out the Ursula Deceiver, challenging in with the Snake. And there's a very high possibility that we have some discards in his hand as well. Or some discards in our hand. Takes out a Prince John with the Elsa, which is fine. I think the Prince John has really done a lot of damage this game. Personally, I think I would have quested with everything. Because if he quested with everything, it would have taken him to 17. And then I would have to get rid of his Diablo and Rabbit. But we'll see how this turns around, because he's feeling pretty confident right now. He does have lethal on board. But come on, like with the amount of cards in our hand, like we have to have something, right? So let's see what we play here. Yeah, Muses would definitely do it, but we have to have enough songs in our hand to be able to start bouncing a lot of cards. But we have plenty of ink, so I don't think that should be a problem, unless our hand is clogged full of characters. Okay, so we're playing the Diablo, checking his hand again. Okay, so we see he still has the Ago and Moana from last turn, and then the Brawl, which is a new card that he drew. So again, no B prep. So we are in the clear right now to just start doing whatever we feel like. Singing the We Don't Talk About Bruno, bouncing the Fox. And then that's gonna allow the Muses to trigger, and then bouncing a character with 2 strength or less. Prince John's also going to trigger, allowing us to draw a card, bouncing the Genie back because it does quest for 2, so it is a bigger threat than the Rabbit or the Diablo. Right now he no longer has lethal on board. He can quest up to 19 next turn, unless he top deck like a Pirate's Life or a Goat. So we're singing, taking out the Elsa. Muses will trigger, bouncing the Diablo back into the hand. So now it's pretty far from lethal because again, like even if he starts to quest, that's going to take him only to 16 next turn. And this is one thing I like about Emerald Steel as well, is that like there's gonna be so many different types of games where, you know, the opponent is so high up in lore, but you're playing such a control mid game that you're able to just come back by taking care of all the opponent's resources in their hand, taking out their characters on the board, right, and just dwindling things one step at a time, right? And then slowly being able to recur back the cards that you just played through Diablo and Prince John. And as you can see here, like we didn't even need a board wipe. We just used so many actions or songs and then the muses to take out his whole entire board. Like he's clean. It's a clean board wipe, essentially. Yeah, we will lose out to a Be Prepared if he just straight up top decks that. But keep in mind that if he B-preps, he's going to have to use up his whole entire turn. And in the following turn from there, we're just going to be able to just throw down everything on the board. Yeah, so he plays a Rabbit, so obviously that's a clear sign that he does not have a Be Prepared, and even if he does draw one, like we're still in the clear from there. And the next turn we'll be able to quest for 10. So we need about 2 turns right now to finish the game. And like it doesn't even matter that we bounce back so many cards into his hand, because again, like the amount of ink that he has and the amount of characters that cost more than 3 ink, he's not going to be able to play anything more than 2 things per turn. And because we have a lot of ink and a lot of our characters are quite cheap, we are able to play maybe 2 or 3 things per turn. Not to mentioning singing a lot of cards as well in our hand to be able to just keep our board state nice and healthy. So we play the chip. Chip's going to discard a card, and the Prince Johns are going to allow us to draw 2 cards. Man, Prince John's such a broken card. Just the fact that like you couldn't even do anything to it, and then Prince Johns are going to discard, draw more cards, and as you can see here, like this game, we played like 3 or 4 Prince Johns already. They're playing another chip, double chip. That just drew us 4 cards right there. And we're just inking anything that doesn't matter anymore. And playing the Pete. So Pete's gonna lock the opponent out, not being able to play friends on the other side, Be Prepared, Finders Keepers, or anything that's gonna be able to threaten our board here. So Pete was the perfect answer right now to be able to just close out this game. Muse is going to bounce back the Diablo, and that way we can just ink it for next turn, and we're just going to quest out with everything. He's not going to be able to play any actions, and then the turn after that, we just quest. So, as you can see that, like, pretty brutal game for the Ruby Amethyst. I'm not too sure whether or not that misplay from not challenging the Diablo with the Maui Half Shark really costed him the game. Because as you recall, there was a Pirate's Life in his discard, so that Pirate's Life would have gained him an additional 2 lore, And I think that same turn that he played the Elsa and he didn't challenge with the Maui Half Shark, he also could have quested, giving him one additional lore as well. So yeah, this game might have gone a different way, but again, like that's why we watch these videos and gameplay videos, to just go over again, like, you know, what the opponent did, what we did, what the opponent can do better, what we could do better, right? So again, it's a learning experience for you guys, just more ways for you guys to kind of catch on as well, and things for you guys to be aware of when you guys play your own games in the future, right? So overall, like, as long as you guys can benefit from like gameplay videos like this, like that's really all it's about, right? Just ensuring that everyone can just get better each and every game, right, that you play. And at the end of the day, it's just, we're just playing a fun casual game anyways. It's not like this was a set champs and he just threw the game right at top 2 or something like that. So again, we're all friends here in Loco, so we're just chilling, hanging out, having a good time. So at the end of the day, misplays happen, right? Okay, so we're gonna start off in game 2, and I believe we are gonna be going first. Let's see here. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are for the new best out of 3 from best out of 2 now, in larger scale events. And obviously they'll be changing that with set champs, and then even some leagues will probably start changing that up to being best out of 3 as well. Let me know your thoughts on that, because I know a lot of people did enjoy best out of 2. Personally, for me, I did like best out of 3, just coming from other card games. It just felt more fair that way, giving, you know, you and your opponent a good back and forth. But I do know that in games of Lorcana, you know, the games can take quite long. So having best out of 3, a lot of times you end up going into time anyways, and then just sometimes you just get slow played and get put into the like a draw, right? Okay, so it does look like we did go first, but we didn't have a 1-drop, which is fine. So we passed it over, and he did play the Diablo. We're inking the Pete, playing the Morph, setting us up for hopefully a Beast Tragic Hero turn. Because in the Ruby Amethyst, especially if we go first, they're not able to deal with that Morph by throwing down a Brawl, right? So our Beast Tragic Hero being shifted on, they're not going to have any outs until they have an Elsa 5-drop. Unless they play other cards like Dragon's Fire, or maybe Be King Undisputed, right? So now we're setting up the Ursula Deceiver of All. So I guess we don't actually have the Beast Tragic Hero, but that's fine, because our Ursula Deceiver of All can maybe perhaps sing Let the Storm Rage On, drawing us, you know, into a Beast Tragic Hero, or even Diablo to shift into that Morph. Unfortunately, that Ursula Deceiver of All does get brawled, which is fine, but it is definitely a high priority target for the Ruby Amethyst player as well, because again, on turn 4, I could just drop the Prince John, and then Ursula sings Sudden Chill twice, and I'm going to draw 2 cards, right? As you can see here, we did have the Prince John, so we probably have a Sudden Chill somewhere in our hand as well. Okay, so we're inking the Muses. Muses isn't always the greatest in this matchup. It really depends on your setup on the board, and you know, how aggro the Ruby Amethyst player went early in the game. Because Muses is great for, you know, bouncing back Diablos and Brooms and Chernobyls, but a lot of times, like, you know, even if you bounce back like a Peter Pan, it has Rush anyways. You bounce back the Elsa, it has Rush anyways. It does slow down the opponent, don't get me wrong, right? Allowing you to build up your board, and you know, having the opponent lose tempo as well. So he plays the Rabbit, drawing him a card, knowing that he's probably going to get discarded in the next few turns here, just due to the fact of my Prince John just chilling. So we're playing a double Prince John again, and again, as you can see last game, right, like having more than one Prince drawn out is so strong. And the fact that like the Prince John is able to also just draw you so many cards, like I don't even care if I'm losing this morph next turn because I'm gonna draw 2 cards with Sudden Chill, or yeah, and then let's just say even in those 2 cards I draw like a Diablo and a Song, I can shift into that morph, and obviously my Diablo will have Evasive, so he's not gonna be able to do too much unless he has that Peter Pan. Like there's just no way for Ruby Amethyst to interact with the Prince John, right? Like before in the past, Ruby Amethyst was built differently where you had Be King Undisputed and also Lady Tremaine. And then it was more so of like you got rid of their non-warded characters, and then you played Be King Undisputed or Lady Tremaine last to get rid of that Prince John. So unfortunately we didn't draw the Diablo to be able to shift into the morph, but that's fine. I really don't care at this point if I lose that morph. The fact that it was able to just sing the Sudden Chill and give us 2 cards and taking out 1 card from the opponent's hand was just way too good to pass up. Plays another rabbit, just trying to ensure that he has as much cards as possible, because again, you want to be able to, like in this matchup, you want to see your friends, you want to see your finders keepers, you want to be able to just keep abusing those rabbits and keep drawing as much as possible. You don't really care too much about Emerald Steel questing out, and unless they're playing a really low to the ground with like Merfolk, Flynn's, Smees. But obviously we don't play Smee here. He didn't see any Smee last game, so he's going to assume that we are more of a mid-range discard deck. So he's just going to start drawing cards as much as possible, because again, like he wants to be able to drop the Maui Half Shark. He wants to be able to get to Be Prepared as quick as possible, and to do that you're going to need cards to ink, right? But if you don't have any cards in your hand to ink, then all those cards are useless. Okay, so we're going to be able to draw 3 cards here, 1 from Hypnotize, 2 from Prince John, keeping our hand size nice and healthy. Like I said before, we just want to keep doing that, right? Like even if the opponent does go really wide like this, like he has double Diablo, double Rabbit, they're all just questing for 1, right? Ruby Amethyst is a slower deck. However, we do have to watch out for Be Prepared coming down later in the future, because even if like he wouldn't mind to Be Prepared his own board, because every single card that he has right now on the board is going to be able to draw him a card once it's banished. So we're playing another Hypnotize. So we did a double Hypnotize turn, giving us a lot of cards, and he's running out of cards. I think he has 1 card left in his hand. As long as he doesn't have a bounce, then he won't be able to get too much value from those rabbits. We're obviously not going to challenge into his Diablo and rabbits with our Prince John, so they're just going to keep questing while our hand size is just going to keep growing. Right now I'm probably debating to sing something, but I think at this point it's probably just best to just pass turn. Yep, so we do pass it over to our opponent. He's going to quest to 8. And let's see if he has a bounce card. Okay, so he does have the Fox, bouncing the Rabbit, drawing him a card. Giving him another card to hopefully ink. Yeah. And now he's at the range where he can just start to ink the last card in his hand and then top deck into a be prepared. And sometimes that's really what you have to do in these scenarios here, is that even if you have one card in hand, you just want to keep inking until you get to that 7 ink. That way, if you ever, you know, draw into like friends on the other side, you can sing that and hopefully draw into be prepared, right? Or just top deck be prepared and just play right away. So we're playing the double morph. And we're playing a sudden chill. We're hard casting a sudden chill because we don't want to overextend too much. Of like what, 8 cards, 9 cards in our hands? Crazy. We don't talk about Bruno as well, so even if he does play the Maui half shark, we just get rid of it right away. Inking the Pete. And pass turn. So let's see if he has the B prep. B prep would be pretty crazy. Okay, so he quests in with everything. Ink, and yep, he plays the B prep. And he's gonna draw 3 cards from the 2 Diablos and the 1 Rabbit. But again, as you can see here, he has to pass because he can't do anything else, right? That gives us a little more time to build up our board again. So we play a Beast Tragic Hero. Inking the Strength and playing the Diablo. So we're forcing the opponent to have another B prep, and even if he does have the Elsa, ideally he's probably just going to take out the Diablo, and then the Beast Tragic Hero is just going to give us more advantage by card draw next turn. We just have to start playing threats turn after turn and forcing the opponent to answer whatever we're doing, right? And that's how you take control of the game, because now the opponent's being reactive to you. And usually when they're being reactive, they're not setting up their own game plan to try to further the board or further their lore count. So let's play a Maui House Shark, but probably gonna just get outed by our Bruno that we have in our hand. So yeah, so we do think that we don't talk about Bruno, saying it back, and then we're just gonna roll to see what we take out. So he has 4 cards in total, gonna be 3. I believe that was, it's one of the new action cards from Reign of Jafar. I believe that one is where you can move around damage from your characters onto one character and draw a card for each damage moved. Okay, so then we're playing the chip, discarding another card, and then we're setting up the Ursula, questing for 1 and passing turn. Drawing from Diablo. As you can see here, right, like even last game as well, the opponent was up in so much lore, but we didn't care at this point, right? And even right now, we have full control of the game and this board. So eventually we're just gonna be able to quest out, right? We deal with his stuff first, deal with his hand, and then once we build up a wide enough board, we just quest with everything. It's like a really good learning experience as well, because even watching like other really seasoned players is like, you have to be very patient in everything that you do. You don't always have to react to the opponent if you know that you're not going to lose in the next turn or 2 turns, right? So as you can see, like I had the Bruno and I was just holding it specifically for that Maui half shark, right? So just trying to hold as much resource as possible and not being too worried about what the opponent's doing, right? You have to have a good understanding of what your opponent has in his hand, right? Which we can see from Diablo and Ursa Deceiver. And then we also need to have a good knowledge of like what's being used already in the discard. So we hard cast another Maui half shark. Let's see, we have the out to this. Again, see, this is what I'm saying, right? Like our deck, we're able to draw so many cards and ink so many cards. We can play 1 or 2 cards per turn, whereas the opponent, they're playing 1 card per turn. And obviously, he wants to get the Maui half shark onto the board as quick as possible because he is worried that, you know, we might just discard his whole hand and taking out that Maui half shark when it's in its hand, right? So as you can see there, like we just hypnotized them. Oh man, yeah, this card's kind of toxic, huh? It's so good, but it's so toxic. Like it's such a feel bad deck sometimes when you're versing against it. And look at that, like Ursa Deceiver of all just double sings, taking out that shark. And then now we can start questing. Opponent's in top deck mode. And we have a pretty wide board. Plays the Finders Keepers. Yeah, because that's the thing, like when Emerald Steel is more prevalent in the meta, a lot of decks can build around that, right? So in the past, like as you can see, like Ruby Amethyst has a lot of ways to adapt. They can play more evasive threats. They can play more card draw in the form of Finders Keepers, right? They can play more top heavy end stuff as well if it's a slower meta, like cards like Medusa and Tremaine. Big Sisu even as well, right? But obviously right now the meta game is pretty healthy. It is quite diverse, right? You see a whole ton of decks being able to top like Emerald Steel, Emerald Amethyst, Ruby Sapphire, Ruby Amethyst, Steel Songs, right? So there's just so many variants in the game right now in this meta that you don't necessarily want to tech for too many decks, right? You just want to be able to tech for, I would say, your hardest matchup. And then give yourself a more favorable matchup for any other game, right? Okay, we're playing Ursa Deceiver. Wow. Okay, so we are able to take out the friends on the other side there. And now we know that he has to top deck the Be Prepared or he will lose. Because our hand is so healthy. It has like 8 to 10 cards constantly. Playing the Ursa Deceiver of all just because we can. You know, again, like I just want to be able to have such a wide board. And as you can see here, like, yeah, he's gonna Genie. He's not gonna have enough to play the B prep. He's gonna play friends on their side, so he's really, really digging for that B prep, right? That's the downside of Ruby Amethyst, is that it's such a slow deck. Like, it's a really good, consistent deck. It's very, very strong, don't get me wrong, but it's quite slow in terms of not having much things to really sing, aside from friends on the other side. And then again, you don't really have too much things to ink, because there's a lot of cards in the deck where you're not allowed to ink it out, right? Like the bounce package, you don't really want to ink. Maui Half Shark, you don't really want to ink, right? So all those cards just automatically, quote unquote, become uninkable. We're double singing the Storm, taking out the Genie, and I think this is it. I think our opponent's cooked, but again, he couldn't really do much. We had double Prince John early in the game, and that really just gave us so much advantage. Playing the Ursula, and again, like you can see, like both games, we're just constantly throwing down Ursula Deceiver, constantly playing Diablos, and just checking his hand, right? checking his hand. Is it safe to go in? Is it safe to hold back? Right? Like what are we doing here, right, with our game plan? All right, but I think that's pretty much it. Like, I really don't think that there's much our opponent can do here. And we're just going bananas, right? We just discarded. He has no cards in hand. He has nothing on the board, and he plays Iago. All right, well, there you have it, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.